Good morning, my name is Bando and this is Breakfast Bando, and today I just want to be going through the upcoming releases and how to not overstretch yourself. Now it's a very exciting time. Heresy is about to get a massive release, and this is great. You know, we've kind of been in the desert for a while, and now we're getting some rain, and there is a very definite temptation to kind of overcorrect. And as hobbyists, model hobbyists especially, we have a horrible tendency to buy far more than we can ever make, and we end up with these huge piles of shame, and it just sits there for ages. And we got all these wonderful new boxes coming out. We've got this massive box set which has got 60 models or something in it, close to 60 models in it. And then we've got reboxings, we've got additional models, new tanks, that sort of thing. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. A piece of advice that's helped me build basically 3 heresy armies over the last 2 years during lockdown. And that is, do a little at a time. And by a little at a time, I mean do a single unit. There is a temptation when you get something like this box set with 40 tactical marines in it to just kind of batch do them. You know, clip all the legs off of the sprues and stick them to their bases. Then do, you know, all the backpacks and do all the arms and do all the heads. And it's great for building them. You know, it can be really good. But This causes hobby burnout, and it can be pretty bad. It can be pretty devastating, actually, where you've got all this hype, you spend an absolute fortune, and you just lose interest, and that's not good. That's never a good thing. That's not healthy. So what I'm going to suggest is what I do, which is I go a squad at a time. And yeah, I mean, I still do it the same way, you know, I clip all the legs off, and then, you know, I clip all the bodies off, and then I clip all the arms off, and all the heads, etc., etc. But make that squad, build it up however you build it, whether you paint in sub-assemblies, or if you're like me and you like to build the whole model first. But get that done, get that squad primed, and then paint them all the way through. All the way to the point where you put on your, you know, your varnish coats and your base everything, and then start on the next squad. Because 40 tactical marines is a lot of models. It's a lot of men, and that even if you are painting them in the same style for each one. I mean, even if you're using an airbrush, airbrushing the same thing 40 times in a row is gonna suck. So really, I've limited myself, you know, even if I've got squads of 20 of something, I do them in batches of 10, all the way from start to finish. It also helps it helps you identify anywhere that causes issues. And, you know, do I need to wait longer for a certain paint to dry? Do I need to do a varnish coat in between things? I noticed very quickly with my 1,000 Suns that I need to put an extra varnish coat in because the air paint just wasn't drying particularly well over a sort of glossy metallic cover, and it was almost sticky. And this was sort of leading me to wear parts of it off, and this is even with plenty of drying time. So what I was doing was drying it off with a hairdryer, then hitting it with a blast of gloss varnish, and it was just an extra step. Now, if I'd done 40 of these guys and then found out that actually if I touch them the paint starts flying off them, it was going to be more of a pain in the arse. The same goes for buying models. Nothing that has been announced is a limited release. The big box set's going to be sticking around. The models are all sticking around. Nothing in that box apparently is unique to that box, so we shouldn't see a problem with like we did with Araman and the Fellhand, where you just can't get the models because the box isn't around anymore. So don't go crazy. Don't go out there and put yourself in jeopardy financially. Don't go out and buy, that box, the 2 Kratos battle tanks, every single expansion pack they've got, the dice, the transfers, all the new paint, everything like that. Don't go crazy, especially not nowadays. A lot of people are struggling with money, and you got to be a bit smarter. Just take your time, paint what you've got, and get through it. The irony of me saying that, and I fully plan on getting 3 copies of the main box. But I have plans for everything, and I intend to build it all. But yeah, go slow, especially if you're new to the hobby. If you're new to heresy, go slow, paint things up one at a time, paint them up as you're going. That way you can really get your practice, really sort of know your skills and your techniques down. Yeah. So that's really my that's this video. It's quite a short one, but I just wanted to tell you guys, that you don't have to go over the top. We are in a situation that's very much like a man who's starving. And when a man who's starving, one of the biggest threats to him when he finally gets his hands on food is he overeats, and it causes serious damage to the body. And it sounds silly saying that a little bit, but it is true. And we are in a situation where we have had very little support mainstream for heresy, and now we're going to get a lot of it. And there is going to be a bit of a sort of genuine threat there that people are going to massively overindulge in models, and you're going to waste money. You're going to end up with loads of stuff you don't want or don't need, and it can cause you to burn out from the hobby, which means you don't want to do anything to do with the heresy, and that is the opposite of what we want. We want to encourage more people into the hobby. That being said, use one of those 10-man squads to help a friend get into the hobby. Invite them over and say, hey, I know you like 40k. Why don't you come over and we'll paint some Marines up in a different, in a Legion colour and have a look at that. Just try and build your community a bit. Spread the love. Take things slow. Really put your all in it. Don't be like that guy that was recently on Facebook being all confrontational about using Primaris Marines with giant chain axes. Make your models look proper. Make the paint job really, really good. Really push the boat out. Try a different technique. You've got a lot of models there. Try different techniques. I did that with my Sons of Horus. One of the first things that I decided my Sons of Horus were going to be was a test bed for oil washes, which is something I'd never used before, and now is probably one of the first tools I think of when I'm working on a mod, like on a new project, is how do I get oils in this. So that's it. That's all I really wanted to say, was not temper your expectations, but temper your spending. Don't put yourself in harm's way financially. Have some restraint. Be a grown-up. Buy what you want, but don't overspend. Build it, buy it, build it, paint it. Get it all the way out of the way, and then go on and buy the next one. Because that way you're not sitting on these huge piles of shame, and because all that happens there is you buy the box sets, and then you get through them, but before you can get through them, something else has come out. They've announced Plastic Mark II, they've announced a Zone Mortalis box set, they've announced the Plastic Sicarian, Plastic Predators. And now you're like, I need those as well. And do you really? Anyway, my name is Bando. This is Brexit Bando, and I'm telling you how to spend your money. Bye. Bye bye.